Want to welcome everyone to the weekly meeting of the Rotary Club of Jonesboro, four-time reigning Club of the Year. Glad to see everyone make this week inspirational moment. Either run the day or the day runs you. Jim Run. We'll move right on to the program, and I will introduce Allyson. I think I had Jill; she wasn't able to make it, so let me grab the information I received. All right. Allyson Lewis is the CEO, Director of Learning and Innovation of the 7 Minute Life, a time management company. Her books have sold more than 130,000 copies and have been translated into Chinese, Turkish, Korean, and Spanish. Her YouTube channel has had more than 1.7 million minutes watched. Allyson is a renowned time management expert, speaker, trainer, and author. She has spent 30 years developing and teaching concrete, actionable business ideas to executives across the world. Allyson, glad to have you.
Well, I'm absolutely delighted to be here. I was a 20-year member of Jonesboro and Rotary, and I have moved to Hot Springs, Arkansas. For those of you that don't know, I moved here for 2 weeks when COVID hit to take care of my mom and dad, and liked it so much I sold my house in 1 day, and I've been here ever since. You know, this is an interesting time, but Jonesboro is my home at heart. I was there almost 30 years, and the Rotary Club does so many magnificent things. So I'm honored and delighted to be here today. Many of you know that I retired as a stockbroker in 2015. And since then, I've been creating time management, life management tools, but it's all morphed. Everything we've morphed has changed into a well-being company that is being delivered at an enterprise level. Time management obviously impacts well-being, stress management, reconnecting with your purpose and priorities in life. So you can see some of the books that I've written back here. That's been really fun. They are in all kinds of different languages. So I want to share with you what it's like to start a new company in a pandemic when you're looking to try to really help the world at a global scale. So I know how Rotary works. We got 15 minutes, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And so my company is called the 7 Minute Life. You may be asking, why are you going to be able to do this in 7 minutes instead of 15 minutes? But we'll just go from here. So the 7 Minute Life actually was created in 2006, and I am the Director of Learning and Innovation for the company. And we've had some very exciting things that have happened, but it actually started when I was at Morgan Stanley. I created a single sheet of paper that was a time management tool back in the early 90s. And when I did that, time management increased my personal revenue by 62%. And so Morgan Stanley said, if you're increasing your revenue by 62% with a single sheet of paper, maybe we should look at this enterprise-wide. And so I was invited to train other trainers. And of course, this is Rotary, so I'm sharing business information. Morgan Stanley ended up paying me $500,000 over multiple years because the average financial advisor was up 14%, but the people that were able to improve their time management and focus on the most important things were up 32%. And in a big company, that's a lot of business revenue. And, you know, in Rotary, I don't know why we always feel so hesitant to talk about increasing revenues, whether it's on the foundation side where you're developing or in business revenues, increasing profit margins. We need to be able to focus on that. And so these classes actually help people double their revenue. But even though people were getting more done and making more money, they began to come to the class and say, is this all there is? You know, I'm making more money, I'm getting more done, but I don't like my life. And so we began to filter in additional pieces where people could actually reconnect with what mattered most to them. And so during that period of time, I created the original piece in the mid-1990s. But what I realized is that people wanted more. And so it's really fun. My second book came out, but this is the first one on time management, purpose, priorities. This book was actually given away on The View as, oh, and you get a book and you get a book. That was kind of exciting. So this is the what we do. but people said, I don't want to just know what to do. So I created a daily planner. This is the how we do it. And then people said, well, I don't want to just know how to do it. I want to understand the why. And so when they began to understand why it was important to improve time management, to reconnect with priorities and purpose, it was at this point that I began to be contacted by companies, big companies, small companies, a lot of media, from Walmart to Kellogg's to ASI Pharmaceutical, did some work for ASU, love to do work for ASU. There are just so many things that people need. And so I'm happy to say that partly because of Rotary probably and meeting all the people, I was able to do 10,000 hours of research and training. And now I've done 501, I guess, presentations after this, just kidding. But the books have sold 130,000 copies, and my YouTube channel now has 1.9 million minutes watched, and that's all been organic. And so let me really walk you into why the 7-Minute Life and why now. I deal primarily with CEOs, with financial services, healthcare, education. And the reason our business is growing is that, especially with COVID, people are asking the question, why am I here? Why is this job important? Does it even make a difference? What's my purpose? What do I really want out of life? But as I'm coaching executive teams, I really have this sense of people saying, in this time, is it really okay to be happy? I mean, what a frightening question for other executives to say, is it okay for me to be happy? And they don't even know how. And so what we see happening to people, time is always moving forward. There is a continuum of time management. You woke up this morning, I'm assuming, with some kind of to-do list. And at the end of the day, you'll end your day and you'll either look back and say, yes, I got everything done, or you'll say, oh my goodness, I blinked my eyes and the day passed me by. Well, it's not just the day. The pandemic happened last March and now it's this March. We blinked our eyes and a year has gone by. I'm now 60 years old, just turned 60 last July. And if I had you live and in person, I would have you say, Allyson, you don't look 60. So y'all can go ahead and just mentally say that. Golly, you don't look 60. But at 60, you start reflecting back on life and you say, does life really matter? How can I make a difference in the world? And as I go around the world now sharing this message virtually, I think the biggest thing that people want to do is they want to be aware of their time and stop drifting through life. Drifting through life is like you're on a raft in the middle of the ocean and the currents are just taking you wherever, the financial currents, the family currents, the COVID currents. And we just feel like we have no direction, that we have no control over our life. And I feel like that's just not true. So I created the company because when I was, in 2006, I would have been 46 years old. I had small children at the time and busy was killing me. I don't mean like I was unhappy. I mean, it was giving me high blood pressure. It was giving me with autoimmune disorders. And so I thought, man, this is pretty serious stuff. And so I can't see heads nodding, but in the corporate world, a lot of us start out with just disorganization, clutter, chaos, distractions, and interruptions. Well, that leads to this whole lack of focus in the workplace. And this is killing employees and killing corporate profits, because this is leading to emotional outcomes of being overwhelmed, stuck, frozen, and exhausted. And it's not just that people are unhappy, and it's not just that they're drifting through life. We're suffering through a mental health crisis. We have stress, anxiety, worry. We feel disconnected from the world around us, and it's killing people. So that's where we came in and decided that we can help solve this problem. Initially, I thought I would impact one person at a time, which is great. But what's happened to my little company, we've just raised venture capital, a pretty substantial amount of venture capital, and we have won equity incentive grants from the state of Arkansas. So we're getting a lot of traction. And it's not because people want better time management. it's that 83% of Americans are suffering from work-related stress. And the state of Arkansas is taking that seriously. Companies around the world are taking that seriously. And so it can't just be about, oh, I want my employees to be happier. You know, I was in a business that was very revenue driven. And so what companies want, and when I go into a company right now is struggling with four things. How do you drive revenues in a world that's just absolutely in chaos? How do you keep your employees? How do you engage your employees? And then how do you continually drive profits? Well, we're looking at the mental health side of this. And a lot of companies have put into place employee assistance programs or access to counselors because they're focusing on really big problems: suicide prevention, mental health assistance, and substance abuse. But this is kind of where everything stops from a corporate place. What would happen instead of coming in with what we call kind of the last resort, if we could come in on the front end of an employment engagement of a new employee, or come in on the front of this and make their lives happier? What would happen to a company's revenues, retention, engagement if we could put step-by-step processes into place that would improve purpose in the workplace, that would generate happiness in the workplace, that would focus on well-being rather than the outcome of unhealthy lifestyles, that would create productivity and clarity? I have an advisor that's helping with the company, and he said to me, Allyson, until you know that North Star, that clear direction, what you're really trying to accomplish with your company will go nowhere. Well, people want the same thing. People want clear direction. They want to have access to getting more of the right things done, to being organized. They want personal development. And so our business, we feel like, is fitting into this enterprise level. And I think that's very exciting. And so I don't know what y'all thought I was doing, but I was a stockbroker for 30 years. And now we're becoming the global leader in helping companies find purpose and happiness in their work. And that, as an owner of a company, is really, really fun. Helping people reignite purpose, passion, belonging, kindness, and trust. You know, we're doing things that are so creative at companies, and we want to reinstigate curiosity, innovation. How can your company make a social impact? So we're doing all of these things, but we're doing it for a psychological and neuroscience platform. We're working with Arkansas State University, which I'm proud, on artificial intelligence, about how we can begin to map out the mathematics of what it means for people to understand happiness and to be involved in that. So from the psychological standpoint, I want you to take you back to the caveman. And so I want you to think about a caveman. A caveman has a need. The caveman is hungry. Caveman eventually gets motivated. He's hungry enough to go out and find food. But a lot of times in corporate business, we know we have a need for our company and for our employees. We know we're motivated to improve, happiness and purpose. The problem is we don't know how to start. And even if we know how to start, we don't know how to create behaviors so that people can stop changing and start living into their life. So here's the caveman. Caveman has a need. Caveman's motivated. Just being motivated, he's still hungry. The caveman doesn't go out and find food until he changes his behaviors. Really, we already understand the need. We already recognize the problem, not only personally, but in business. And the behaviors that we're trying to change are to help individuals, employees, and companies create that clear direction, that North Star, and communicate it with their employees, to organize their day, to have a written plan of action, to prioritize tasks, and to be able to measure how well you're doing at that. But that's where a lot of things stop. I'm 60 years old. I don't want to blink my eyes and be 70. What I want to do is blink my eyes and be 90 and have helped myself and others live on a path of a journey where their lives include purpose and priorities and commitment and clarity and conviction. When was the last time you felt that in the workplace? Determination comes from the Latin to put a stake in the ground. It's like to determine is to put a stake in the ground and say, it's 2021. We've been through a lot, but either we're going to stay there or we're going to put a stake in the ground and choose to do things differently. And we're going to do that with excitement. This is what people want and what employees want. Well, how do you do that? Unfortunately, in 15 minutes, I don't have enough time, but what you do, this is our analog version, is you truly give people, employees and companies, step-by-step pieces. If you want to know what's most important to you, then discover what's most important to you. If you want to reconnect with your purpose in life, what do you love? If you want to understand personal goals, set them. If you're being held back by mental clutter, let's not do that. So these are my priorities as of January 1st. Imagine what it's like for me to hold these things in my hand and say, today, I want to make an impact on the mental health of America. I want to make an impact on well-being. I want to live with compassion and kindness. I want to have happiness and laughter. Well, by holding these things in your hand and having those discussions in the workplace, it's changing people. This isn't just learning what it is or how it is or why it is. This is being able to hold it in your hands. And so we created all these things, but now in the coolness factor, we're taking it both analog and digital. You'd be surprised that 62% of our people still want to do this with a pen and a piece of paper. But we've created all these things with the money we've raised. We've created desktop apps, iPad, mobile apps. We haven't done the watch yet, but from a business standpoint, we thought we were going to sell that to individuals. Well, it's a whole lot easier to take products and sell them to companies. So we have generated our first real estate client. They have 200,000 members that are unhappy. They're realtors, second highest industry with depression in the country. Number one is transportation. Number three is healthcare. Financial services, that's just a natural place. Healthcare, we're moving into this. And then I've been meeting with the Arkansas Department of Education. Can you imagine putting priorities and purpose and goals in the hands of high school students or even 5-year-olds? And so what we're doing is we're really creating enterprise level solutions to do this. So we hope that we'll be able to sell to millions of people. Headspace, which is a meditation company, is now really focusing on business and helping them meditate. They have 62 million users, 2 million paying users. Wellbeing is really there. I'm not going to spend any time on this, but even as you look at these things and you think about your own life and the lives of your employees, imagine if you could put tools in their hands to either help them with this or re-engage them with this. So here are the last couple of slides. This is what a lot of people see. You know, they look at the world today and there is no clarity. They have no idea what this is a picture of. And that's how we see our lives a lot of times. Is that it's not clear. We don't have a vision. We don't have a passion. And I've been so lucky to have had a great career of 30 years of really enjoying that. And now at 60, I'm on a new path to create happiness and purpose. Well, this is actually the picture of a cow. It's the head of a cow. Some of you may have seen it, but this is the head. This is an ear. This is the jawline of the cow. This is the nose, jawline, another ear. This is the eye, another eye. If you can't see it, let me help you. Now, can you see it? This is where companies are today. They're out of focus. They're, you know, we're all over the world. We can't have that connection of walking up to someone and just saying, how are you? Or what are you doing for fun? Or what's interesting? Or what's most important to you now? My father passed away July 20th. You know, I was here having conversations with people because those things matter. We're not able to have those conversations. So how can you in this world really bring clarity into this? Because once you bring clarity into your company, you can't help but see it. You can't help but see it. So this is what we've done. This should say STEP. I just finished creating this morning. Is that this is where we are in the United States. This is time. We're going to blink our eyes and it's going to be 2031. And as business owners, we don't want to stay where we are. We want to create human potential. The capital we have as business owners is time, effort, energy, emotion, and money. What I want to see happen in the world is for people to first and foremost understand that their job can look like this. And we've created a step-by-step model to help people take them there from the very first. The very first thing we do is give people a vision of what their life can be like. And so I hope in the last 15 minutes, I've been able to give you a vision of what I believe is incredibly important in the world. We have missed out. We have drifted through life. We've blamed circumstances, and we can't continue to do that. As a Rotarian, our past Rotarian Paul Harris Fellow, it's the community of Rotary that makes it. I mean, you know, it's hard to do this. It's that sitting down and having those conversations about what's most important that makes Rotary so powerful. We're creating that model, kind of like a Peloton model, where, you know, you pay your $38 and you're with a coach and you're pedaling together. That's what I think is going to really make a difference. So I'm looking forward for y'all being able to get back in to that same location, having lunch together and talking about things that matter. So that's what I'm doing. I hope that it's been inspiring and exciting for you. And I thank you for inviting me to present some little glimmer of hope into what the workplace can be like.
Thank you, Allyson. It's a great program. Anybody got any questions for Allyson?
Allyson, could you give us your website?
Yes, I can. It's if you go to this the7minutelife.com, which is down here. Oh, it's the app. Never mind. Hold on. The7minutelife. So you can see a little bit about our app here, but I'll take you to the website.
There you go.
What we're really trying to do, my computer's kind of logging, is help people find meaning and purpose and happiness at work and in life. And we're doing that. We have coaching, team training. We have corporate training where we go in. You know, I speak anywhere from 10 people to 1,000 people. And so it's been, come on, computer, don't lock up on me. It's locked up on me. Let me just see if I can come in through a different way. But, you know, we feel like this is going to be just incredibly important. Oh, well, here, I can go this direction too. This is some of our technology that we've worked on. We've raised, I guess it's okay to share, we've raised $1.3 million because this is such a big thing. And the state of Arkansas has just given us $1 million equity incentive credit to help. So this is our mobile app. Hopefully you can see that. And where it all starts is with this life planner. And so for a very small amount, we can help people go in and just ask some of the questions like, what do I value most in life? What are my priorities? Well, we feel like people don't really even know. So at this plus, we've actually given people words to help them just think through. And so, you know, let's say happiness is something you value. You just hit save. Happiness is down here at the bottom. Every day you just grab a hold of something and you say, you know, I want to focus on happiness today. And you begin to plan your day around that. Or what are you most grateful for today? All these little steps that we can take that are very tangible. You know, let's not just talk about having purpose. Let's write down, who do you want to be in 90 days? Who are you today? You can see I was playing with this. What are your highest and best? When we can sit down with our employees and ask them what they love to do at work. You know, I love to teach. I'm leading an amazing team. We're creating the unimaginable. We're doing things at a molecular level that will help reduce cortisol levels. And I mean, it's just crazy. Reduce blood. I mean, you just wouldn't believe how this impacts. But I love to create business strategies, financial marketing, speaking. If you could find out what your employees love to do and they could do more of it, can you imagine how that would impact revenues? Well, how do you know what your employees' strengths are? You ask them, you know. How do they know what their most important things that they should do? I have to focus on enterprise sales, technology, teaching. So these little apps, that's what we're doing. So the website is the7minutelife.com.
So Allyson, to get the app, can anyone get the app from like the App Store or online? Or I know you mentioned enterprise.
Yeah.
So-
Right now we put it into test flight this week, and it's on the Apple Store by invitation only. And so if someone in this group would like to be a beta tester for us, I would say in a month, you'll be able to have access to that. It's a lot harder than you think, and it takes every bit of $1.3 million to develop enterprise level technology. So
We believe you.
yeah. But I tell you how you can help me is let people know about what we're doing. We don't think it's being done in corporate America. And, you know, we're bumping into things that it's like serendipitous. It's unfortunate, but one of the senior doctors at Baptist Health just walked out and killed themselves not long ago. This is not a small problem. Suicide runs in my family. My mother's father killed himself. You know, mental health is very serious, and I want to get on the front end of that. It's not wait until someone's suicidal or struggling with alcohol abuse or mental health issues. What happens when we start engaging people at that core level of their heart, body, mind, and soul, and let them talk about it, build that belonging. So how you can help me is, you know, we're still in the developmental design phases of this. Is we want to work with HR teams. We want to understand the problems. We want to sell it, obviously, to people. But right now they're in that beta mode of where not only are we selling it to them, but they're helping us create it, which is just remarkable. So as a Rotary Club, we hope that you'll tell people about what we're doing and contact me and, you know, be part of helping us.
All right. Any other questions for Allyson? All right, we will. Again, Allyson, thanks for joining us. It's a great program, good information. I do think that a lot of businesses can benefit from this.